And this is CIA, Contagious Influencers of America, from the #1 faith-based syndicated show in all of America. I'm David Sams. Today we have someone very special, and we have a very special date that we're going to tell you about coming up on April the 26th. I have with me Luke Smallbone of For King and Country. He and his brother Joel, I'm telling you, these guys are the real deal. They're from Australia. They now live in the United States right here in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. And these gentlemen, let me just tell you, everything they touch turns into a #1 radio hit. And I kid you not. They also sell out arenas all over the globe. I'm talking about continents. They are probably the most in-demand artists that we have on Keep the Faith Radio. And here's the bottom line. We program something like 148,000 hours a year of radio programming on stations all across America and Canada and some other places. And I want to tell you something. I don't think that there is another artist that is requested as much as For King and Country. These guys, I just looked at our playlist last week alone. They got over, just on our Sunday show, if you add up all the stations, like 1,000 spins, something like that. So I love having them on. We don't get them on that often, but today we have Luke with us, and Luke he's not here to talk about their music. And I know that's odd. He's here to talk about something that is hitting theaters on April the 26th. And this is one heck of a fun movie and, heartwarming movie. And this is something to take the whole family to. And it's the story of the Smallbone family. And it's the story of how mom and dad bring the kiddos to the United States with suitcase in hand. But what they basically came here with their dreams. And that's what this movie is all about. It is fun. It'll take you back to that day. It also is the story of Rebecca St. James. Of course, she was back in the day. We're going back, 20 years or so. And we worked with her a lot over the years, but she was a Christian pop icon. And this is the story of the family, their dreams, and it's the story of Mama Smallbone. That's right. She is the true unsung hero. So this is a movie that you're going to want to take mom to just in time for Mother's Day. By the way, I should mention that this is being put into theaters by the same folks that brought us I Can Only Imagine and Jesus Revolution. So this is quality work. So it hits theaters on April the 26th. And I'm going to bring out Luke in just a second. But first, Unsung Hero.
Luke and I and the band we're in For King and Country, we've been sharing this story from stage for years. It's one that has continued to resonate with our listeners and audience members. The story of Unsung Hero is a family movie. It's a 90s film. It's a film about a mum and her 6 kids with one on the way, and her husband had lost everything migrating from Australia to the United States.
This is everything we have. Kids, we need your help. No character has ever really spoken to me on this level ever before.
The film is a love letter to motherhood and mothers.
Our family went through some very, very difficult things, and we want to tell that story.
I really love the way the film explores that. Different people in your life saw needs and acted. And that's a miracle in its own way.
I think because Mom and Dad posed it to us as an adventure, it was that. And they didn't seem scared, and so we weren't scared.
Migrating around the world and taking leaps of faith and taking risks, fighting for each other instead of against each other in these really dire and desperate moments. and hopefully just give one small example of what it looks like to rise above together.
Whatever your dream is, I know you can achieve it. My dream is to be like you. It always has been.
Who is the unsung hero? To an 18-year-old girl, it's Rebecca. To a father who's trying to figure out how to navigate being a husband and a dad, it's David. To women in marriage and motherhood, it's Mum.
There's redemption, there's hope, there's love. Go see Unsung Hero because it will just encourage you.
There will be tough times and trials, and love will see you through. And faith and honesty will see you through.
It's going to be dangerous and scary. It's going to be so hard that you want to go back. And giving up, it's not an option. We've got to fight our way forward.
But look around you, David. Your wife, your family, your faith. They're not in the way. They are the way.
Hey, Luke, how you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm good. Thanks for taking the time to chat.
Is this sort of bigger than life? Did you ever expect anything like this to happen?
No, I mean, look, I feel very. It's a fascinating thing. I feel very unqualified to do pretty much everything that I've ever done in life. I don't feel like I in some cases have been prepared to do any of it. But I take great comfort in that most stories of people in the Bible I see, it's a very similar thing. They're people that they shouldn't be doing the things that they're doing. And so that's encouraging. But yeah, man, I mean, look, I think that we were always just with the film, there was something about this story that I would tell, my dad coming from Australia many, many years ago to America as, young with a young family. I told it from stage for many, many years, and I could see people resonate with it. And, at the end of the day, we had people saying, hey, you should write a book. And I like to joke back that we were homeschooled, so we don't read or write very well. So we thought maybe we'd do a movie instead. And I don't think I ever thought that we would even get to this point of having a finished product. I made a phone call to a friend of mine in LA, said, hey, man, there's something about this story. What do you think? And he basically immediately said yes. And I was like, maybe I should ask more often because I don't think it's meant to go that way, And so it's a little bit surreal, very, very grateful for it. But man, my ultimate hope is that just people see themselves in the movie and that they feel encouraged by the power of family and what God can do through a family's life.
So, Unsung Hero, tell me how you came up with that title.
Yeah, well, we were in the development of the movie, and we came into the studio wanting to write a song for our parents, and we came up with this, title of Unsung Hero, and so the whole song is about, basically to the unsung heroes, we sing this song for you, and so then when we the song really resonated with a lot of people, and then we were like, wait a second, look at this movie that we're working on. Shouldn't it just be the same title? And not to spoil the movie, but it's our mother is the unsung hero, and so it makes a lot of sense for it to be titled that. It's definitely titled appropriately.
So take me back to that time when you really truly realized this journey that your family has been on. Tell me when you personally realized that your mom truly was a hero.
Man, I think it's probably, after we went through that season of coming to America and, sleeping on beds made out of clothes and didn't have any way for a little sister to be born and, not always quite sure where the next meal was going to come from, didn't have a car. I mean, obviously that's a pretty difficult period of time. But it's probably not till when you get a little older that you go, oh man, my mom was a good one. You know what I mean? You don't stumble upon realizing that you have special parents until you start having other friends. You see how these other families are going about things. And so I was probably, for me, the high school age was when I was like, man, I got a really special mom, and I was one of those kids in high school. I didn't get into a lot of trouble in some cases just because I knew what my mom said was serious. I knew the things that you taught me were real. And I was like, man, if I'm going to bet on anybody, I'm not betting on my friends. I'm betting on my mom and dad. You know what I mean? And so I think it was probably during that time that, that was the moment when we realized, like, mom's a good one. You know, she really is the glue.
This has been a family affair all along. And your dad has managed you. You've got a sister, of course, who's iconic, and we all sort of were there in the 90s, and those years when contemporary Christian music was really taking off. When did you realize that you all had something special, that you all had a real purpose to give that talent?
You saying as a family? As a family? Yeah, I think it was when we were starting to go out on the road together, and that we could actually do it. I think I was 9 years old when I started running Spotlight, for my sister, and you started to realize, like, people looked at us a little funny, and we just thought this is just what we did. But there was in the coming years, we realized, like, oh, nobody else does this stuff, and in some cases nobody else could. We were just given an awful lot of responsibility at a very young age, and that was a good thing for us. Not everybody's going to have the circumstances to which they can do that, but for us, I pretty quickly realized, like, my brothers were my best friends, and I looked up to them. I wanted to be like them, and that was transferred down from my parents. I had an older sister who had a job that, in some cases, none of us were jealous of. We were there to just help her. I think it was in those types of years where I remember we're setting up stages and we'd have crew guys be like, "Oh, you're Rebecca's brother?" I'd be like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, you're just so jealous that she's not the one setting up the stage right now?" I was like, "No, because that's her job and this is mine, and we do this so that she can do that well." And so I think it was in those periods of times where we started to see once again, like, yeah, maybe our family's not entirely normal. But yeah, still to this day, we love and care for each other, and it's a special thing.
Now, along the way, you've had some battles. You've lived a life of second chances. I know that you back in the day, a few years back, you had some digestive issues. You had things that you had to work through, and at one point, I believe that. There was a real question whether you could really carry on personally doing what you did. Tell me how you got through that season, because there are a lot of people that are going through things right now that you can really encourage them.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's always interesting, when you reflect back on things. People kind of know what your secret is, and man, survival is tough. When you're just trying to make it through, you don't have any, like, secret sauce. And what I mean by that is you're trying out different things. And in some cases it was, if I had any secret sauce moment, it was that struggle has been a big gift for me. I have had the privilege of walking through some difficult things and having my wife and kids, help me along in seeing, like, where my faith actually really stands. And I've had the privilege of my faith being tested. Some people don't think of it as a privilege, but it really is, to see when you can go through really hard things and you still choose and still long to walk with Jesus. That's a great gift, because it strengthens your faith. The riskiest prayer you can ever pray is, God, increase my faith. It's one that we should all pray, but it's risky because you will go through things that push and pull on that. And for me, when I got sick, I think I needed to learn how to pray. I think I needed to learn how to pray honest prayers. I think the Psalms were very inspiring for me, because I always thought that I had to pray like prayers that you could pray from stage. And my wife was like, no, you don't pray prayers to God like you're on stage. You pray prayers when you're angry. You pray prayers when you're disappointed. You pray prayers when you're unwell. You pray prayers when you don't know what's coming next. And so in some cases, yeah, for me, that's where things get real. And that's where you actually start to really learn the heart of God. And I felt very clearly when I started praying those prayers, God say, Luke, I'm not looking for you to achieve anything for me. I don't need another song from you. I don't need another performance. I just want more of your heart. And if it takes a little bit of sickness for you to recognize that I just want a little bit more of your heart, then I will allow that sickness because I love you that much. That's what I think I learned.
Well, the movie is Unsung Hero in theaters all across America. I want to thank you, my friend. Good to see you again, Luke, and we wish you much success.
Yes, thank you very much. April 26th is the film. It comes out everywhere. So hope to see you guys there. And David, thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you again, Luke. The movie is called Unsung Hero. It's in theaters April 26th, right around the corner. Be sure to get your tickets in advance because the good seats are going, folks. This is going to be a big opening weekend for Unsung Hero. And you can, right there on the screen, you can see UnsungHero.Movie is where you can get your tickets in advance. Be sure to do that. This has been CIA Contagious Influencers of America. From the producers of Keep the Faith, I'm David Sams. Thank you for watching. Please do give us 5-star review and check out our websites at contagiousInfluencers.com and, of course, KeepTheFaith.com, our radio show website where you're going to find all kinds of goodies. There's something very special going on right there right now. Go check it out. And I want to encourage you to go out there this week and live that life in living color, because it sure is a heck of a lot more interesting than living it in black and white. I'll see you next time.